Welcome to quiz class. Today we have a 100 question quiz on the 1950s. Let's see how much you know. Please tell us your score in the comments. Which song topped the pop charts in the summer of 1958? The Elegance Little Star, Elvis Presley Hard-Headed Woman, or Perez Prado and his orchestra, Patricia? The Elegance Little Star. Who recorded the song A Big Hunk of Love? Elvis Presley with the Jordanaires, Ricky Nelson, or the Coasters? Elvis Presley with the Jordanaires. Who wrote the song Yakety Yak? The Coasters, Paul Anka, or Lieber and Stoller? Lieber and Stoller. Who won the San Remo Music Festival in 1958 with the song Nel Blue Dipinto di Blue? The Crew Cuts, Georgia Gibbs, or Domenico Montague? Domenico Montague. Who recorded the song Shaboom? The Crew Cuts, Perez Prado and his orchestra, or Rosemary Clooney? The Crew Cuts. Who wrote the song Come On in My House? Frank Sinatra, William Sarian, or Mitch Miller? Frank Sinatra. Who popularized the Cuban-originated genre mambo in America with the song Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White? Frank Sinatra, Johnny Horton, or Perez Prado and his orchestra? Perez Prado and his orchestra. Who had a hit with the song The Battle of New Orleans? Johnny Horton, Frank Sinatra, or Mitch Miller? Johnny Horton. Who wrote the song A Teenager in Love? Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, or Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann? Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann. What is the nickname of Clarence, the singer of Ain't Got No Home? Frogman, Big Bopper, or Little Willie? Frogman. Who discovered Elizabeth Cotton's guitar playing talents? The Seeger family, Joan Baez, or Chet Atkins? The Seeger family. Who originally recorded the song Fever? Little Willie John, Madonna, or Peggy Lee? Little Willie John. Who played the wild sax solo in the song Tequila? Chuck Rio, Buddy Holly, or Danny Flores? Danny Flores. Who had a hit with the song Cry? David Cassidy, Crystal Gayle, or Johnny Ray? Johnny Ray. Which jazz cut by Nina Simone became a mega hit after being used in a Chanel No. 5 advertisement? I put a spell on you, feeling good, or my baby just cares for me. My baby just cares for me. Who was a profound influence on Elvis Presley and John Lennon? Fats Domino, B.B. King, or Johnny Burnett? Fats Domino. Who patented the dirty rock and roll sound in the song Train Kept a Rollin'? Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio, the Big Bopper, or the Chords? Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio. Who recorded the song Cry Me a River during the 1950s? Julie London, Justin Timberlake, or Paul Anka? Julie London. Who recorded the song Willie and the Hand Jive? Little Willie John, Paul Anka, or Johnny Otis? Johnny Otis. Which song by the Everly Brothers became one of their biggest hits? Blue Suede Shoes, Wake Up Little Susie, or Dancing Queen? Wake Up Little Susie. Which song by Dean Martin is often associated with cute romance films and cartoons? I've Got You Under My Skin, That's Amore, or Your Cheatin' Heart? That's Amore. Who wrote and performed the song Ain't That a Shame? Muddy Waters, Fats Domino, or Hank Williams? Fats Domino. What is the origin of the song Got My Mojo Working? Early American rock, classic romance song, or blues standard? Blues standard. Who popularized the song I've Got You Under My Skin? Frank Sinatra, Bobby Darin, or the Five Satins? Frank Sinatra. Which song by Jerry Lee Lewis was considered controversial at the time? Yakety Yak, Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On, or I Walk the Line? Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On. Who recorded the song I Walk the Line? Johnny Cash, Eddie Cochran, or Little Richard? Johnny Cash. Who had a hit with the song The Battle of New Orleans? Johnny Horton, Frank Sinatra, or Mitch Miller? Johnny Horton. Who recorded the song Diana? Julie London, Johnny Otis, or Paul Anka? Paul Anka. Who recorded the song Goodnight Sweetheart Goodnight? The Spaniels, Carl Perkins, or Johnny Cash? The Spaniels. Who recorded the song Lottie Miss Claudie? Johnny Otis, Julie London, or Lloyd Price? Lloyd Price. Who recorded the song The Great Pretender? The Platters, the Champs, or the Diamonds? The Platters. What charts did Earth Angel reach #1 on? R&B charts, country charts, or pop charts? R&B charts. Who recorded the song Ooby Dooby? Ricky Nelson, Roy Orbison, or Bobby Freeman? Roy Orbison. Who recorded the song I Met Him on a Sunday? The Drifters, the Shirelles, or Les Paul and Mary Ford? The Shirelles. Who recorded the song Jambalaya on the Bayou? Carl Perkins, Buddy Holly, or Hank Williams? That's Jambalaya on the Bayou. Hank Williams. Who recorded the song Lucille? Little Richard, Little Willie John, or Johnny Otis? Little Richard. Which of these songs is a tragic love story? Running Bear, Let the Good Times Roll, or La Bamba? Running Bear. Which song features the celestial harmonies of the Everly Brothers? Folsom Prison Blues, Bye Bye Love, or Rockin' Pneumonia? Bye Bye Love. Which song is a fictional account of incarceration at Folsom Prison? Let the Good Times Roll, Folsom Prison Blues, or Walkin' After Midnight? Folsom Prison Blues. Who recorded the song Let the Good Times Roll? Dale Hawkins, Patsy Cline, or Shirley and Lee? Shirley and Lee. Which song is referred to as a David Lynchesque? Walkin' After Midnight, Susie Q, or La Bamba? Walkin' After Midnight. Who recorded the song Susie Q? Richie Valens, Dale Hawkins, or Elmore James? Dale Hawkins. Who originally recorded the song Blue Suede Shoes? Carl Perkins, Elvis Presley, or Chuck Berry? Carl Perkins. Which song was recorded by Les Paul and Mary Ford? Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Rock Around the Clock, or How High the Moon? How High the Moon. Which song features the word tequila repeatedly throughout? Rock Around the Clock, Tequila, or Oh What a Night? Tequila. Who recorded the song Oh What a Night? Chuck Berry, Jackie Wilson, or the Dells? The Dells. Who recorded the song Reet Petite? Eddie Cochran, Jackie Wilson, or Bill Haley? Jackie Wilson. Who recorded the song Rock and Roll Music? Dale Hawkins, Chuck Berry, or Gene Vincent and his Blue Caps? Chuck Berry. Who was dubbed the king of slide guitar? Elvis Presley, Ritchie Valens, or Elmore James? Elmore James. Which song is an adaptation of a Mexican folk song? When I Fall in Love, Don't Be Cruel, or La Bamba? La Bamba. Which vocal harmony group recorded the definitive version of the song I Only Have Eyes for You? The Miracles, the Flamingos, or the Righteous Brothers? The Flamingos. Which song by the Isley Brothers is known for its frenetic harmonies and dynamic changes? Roll Over Beethoven, Shout, or Mystery Train? Shout. Who recorded the song Mystery Train in the early 50s? Carl Perkins, Junior Parker, or Bobby Freeman? Junior Parker. Which artist's song Roll Over Beethoven has been covered approximately 12,000 times? Carl Perkins, the Beatles, or Chuck Berry? Chuck Berry. Who recorded the song Be-Bop-A-Lula? Eddie Cochran, Gene Vincent and his Blue Caps, or Dale Hawkins? Gene Vincent and his Blue Caps. Who recorded the song Speedo? The Cadillacs, Elmore James, or Marilyn Monroe? The Cadillacs. Who recorded the blues song Dust My Broom? Buddy Holly, Elmore James, or Fats Domino? Elmore James. Who sang the love song Blueberry Hill? Nat King Cole, Buddy Holly, or Fats Domino? Fats Domino. Which genre of music emerged from the jazz music of the 1940s and came to be a term for blues music that was slightly more upbeat? Rock and roll, rhythm and blues, or country? Rhythm and blues. What genre of music dominated the 1950s? Jazz, blues, or rock and roll? Rock and roll. What was the social impact of rock and roll in the 1950s? It further segregated blacks and whites, it brought together blacks and whites, or it had no social impact? It brought together blacks and whites. Which song was performed by Nat King Cole? Unforgettable, The Great Pretender, or Heart and Soul? Unforgettable. Who sang the song Here in My Heart? Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, or Al Martino? Al Martino. Which song was performed by Joe Stafford? Crying in the Chapel, You Belong to Me, or Delicado? You Belong to Me. Who sang the song A Guy is a Guy? Les Paul, Eddie Fisher, or Doris Day? Doris Day. Which song was performed by Percy Faith in 1953? Delicado, Secret Love, or Your Cheatin' Heart? Delicado. Who sang the song Mr. Sandman? The Chordettes, the Orioles, or the Crew Cuts? The Chordettes. Who recorded the song That'll Be the Day? Bo Diddley, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, or James Brown and the Penguins? Buddy Holly and the Crickets. What is the title of the song performed by the Big Bopper? Chantilly Lace, Banana Boat, or Always? Chantilly Lace. Which song was performed by Eddie Fisher? Hey There, I'm Walking Behind You, or I Need You Now? I'm Walking Behind You. Who originally sang the song Banana Boat Deo? Harry Belafonte, Tony Bennett, or Ella Fitzgerald? Harry Belafonte. Who sang the song Hey There? Bill Haley, Rosemary Clooney, or Little Richard? Rosemary Clooney. Which song did Ella Fitzgerald record for her 1958 album? There Goes My Baby, Don't Be Cruel, or Always? Always. Who recorded the song Because of You in 1951? Tony Bennett, Harry Belafonte, or the Big Bopper? Tony Bennett. Which Which song by the Drifters was added to the 500 greatest songs of all time? Patti Page, Hound Dog, or There Goes My Baby? There Goes My Baby. Who performed the song Mac the Knife? Elvis Presley, Bobby Darin, or Bill Haley and His Comets? Bobby Darin. Who performed the song Heartbreak Hotel? Elvis Presley, Bill Haley and His Comets, or Bobby Darin? Elvis Presley. Who performed the song Jailhouse Rock? Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, or Patti Page? Elvis Presley. Which singer is known for his energetic and wild performances? Louis Prima, Nat King Cole, or Little Richard? Louis Prima, or Prima. Which song is considered a cinema and music classic of the 1950s? Dream a Little Dream of Me, Singin' in the Rain, or The Bigger the Figure? Singin' in the Rain. Who is known as the father of bossa nova? João Gilberto, Buddy Holly, or Nat King Cole? João Gilberto. Which 50s song is considered one of the greatest anthems in music history? Dream a Little Dream of Me, Rhythm of the Night, or I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man? I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man. Which singer is known as the King of Swing? Elvis Presley, Louis Prima, or Gene Kelly? Louis Prima. Which singer is considered the king of music? Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, or Nat King Cole? Nat King Cole. Which singer is known for his iconic scene of singing and dancing in the rain? Buddy Holly, Frank Sinatra, or Gene Kelly? Gene Kelly. Who performed the song What I Say? The Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, or Ray Charles? Ray Charles. Who was the artist of the song Giant Steps? Tommy Flanagan, Frank Sinatra, or John Coltrane? John Coltrane. Which song is from Frank Sinatra's album In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning? Holes in the Floor of Heaven, In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning, or Giant Steps? In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning. What is the theme of the song Holes in the Floor of Heaven? Loss and mourning, love and happiness, or adventure and excitement? Loss and mourning. Who was the artist of the song Teddy Bear? Shaka Khan, Red Sovine, or Steve Wariner? Red Sovine. In what year was the song Always Late with Your Kisses composed? 1950, 1955, or 1959? 1950. Which genre does the song Be My Love belong to? Jazz, musical film, or country bluegrass? Musical film. Who wrote the song Bushel and a Peck? Little Willie John, the Crests, or Frank Loesser? Frank Loesser. Who recorded the song Faded Love? Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys, Lefty Frizzell, or Roger Williams? Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Who sang the hit song Smokestack Lightning? Bobby Darin, Wilbert Harrison, or Howlin' Wolf? That's Smokestack Lightning. Howlin' Wolf. Which R&B song topped the Billboard Hot 100 in 1959? That'll Be the Day, Shaboom, or Kansas City? Kansas City. Who had a hit with the song Fever in 1958? Buddy Holly and the Crickets, Peggy Lee, or the Chords? Peggy Lee. Who presented her impressive vocal range with the song Lonely Teardrops? Nina Simone, Patsy Cline, or Jackie Wilson? Jackie Wilson. Which artist collaborated on the song Slow Dancing? Johnny Coltrane and Tommy Flanagan, Shaka Khan and Rick James, or Frank Sinatra and Red Sovine? Shaka Khan and Rick James. What is the main theme of Earth Angel? Social commentary, political protest, or romantic sentiment? Romantic sentiment. And bonus question, who is known as the king of rock and roll? Let us know the answer in the comments. Thanks for playing this quiz, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell.